with Stuart Brisgel and David Solomon. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. You think about it, we rant about it. Listen to us live on Facebook.
Good afternoon. It's afternoon somewhere. It's afternoon in South Florida. I think it's afternoon in Montreal, Quebec.
Until further notice, we're still in the same time zone.
Until further notice, we're still in the same time. Exactly. And, like I said, only you would understand my sense of humor because we've been friends for close to 45 years. Mm-hmm. How's that for frightening? I've actually known this gentleman for 45 years. And over 45 years, we haven't agreed any less or any more. Maybe that's not so true. But on this subject, I don't know. Let's see who we agree with. Returning for some form of world order. What a great title. You know, David, you're a master at these titles, and I thank you so much for spending the time and research to get this part of our broadcast really so precise. Because like from that, it all downhill from there. But but I think that it's more downhill when it comes to anything at United Nations or any government body that you're trying to punish, a country that's committing genocide. It's not my opinion. It's the world's opinion. For my cousin Rupert, yes, Rupert, I'm calling you out by name. I hope you're listening. But yes, there's mass genocide in Russia, mass genocide in the Ukraine, and no one seems to give a shit. But David, it's not our topic. Let's go. Let's hear what you got to say.
Well, we're really close. You're almost there.
Wow, I'm close.
I think what the biggest problem right now is the world is really showing its real, I guess its real beliefs, its real side, or whatever you want to call it, in that the world has how many times can a leader of a free country appeal to the world for help? I mean, listen, Vladimir Zelensky, whether you like him or not, and there are people who don't, but there are people who really do like him and think he's an amazing leader, has gone all over the place, including the Grammys, to actually to talk about help. He needs help. He's appealed to various parliaments directly. He's appealed to Congress and to the Senate directly, publicly, privately. And then yesterday, or this morning more precisely, Vladimir Zelensky made an appeal to the UN Security Council to not only impose further sanctions, but to really get heavy-handed with Russia. Now, here's the funny thing about all this, is that one of the comments was also sanction Russia, get them off the Security Council. Now, shout out to Jamie Gorin. Jamie, unfortunately, there is no policy on how to get rid of a permanent member off the Security Council, and Russia is one of the 5. So, oops. Second, you have to throw somebody out of the UN in order for them to be expelled from anything. And Russia isn't getting thrown out when their best buddies, China, has a veto, and it ain't happening. So the problem is this. How do we want the UN Security Council to do anything when they are themselves beyond corrupt? So let me remind everybody who is on the Security Council, please. Aside from its permanent members of the United States, the UK, France, China, and our friends in Russia, there are 10 rotating non-permanent members, of which Canada tried to be one of them and failed. It was Trudeau's bust again. But how about this? We've got credible countries like Albania, Gabon, Ghana, Kenya, amongst this list of really noble members. 40% of the members on the Security Council are committing genocide today.
Wow.
And you want them to tell Russia, naughty, 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 you must stop. Come on. This is to show you the level of stupidity. This is the inmates running the asylum. This is pure hypocrisy at its best, that the 40 million people of Ukraine are begging China, Ghana, Kenya, Albania to save their ass. Stuart, it ain't gonna happen.
I gotta tell you, the market's blowing up. and I'm busy working at the same time. That's called multitasking. But you know what? The UN can't multitask because you're right. Russia, China, they all got veto power. So you're right. The asylum's being run by the inmates. Couldn't have said it any better. But here's something that's just so ironic. You put up that list of all those countries again, you know, Albania. Well, let me tell you, Albania's got one of the largest crime families that runs in the state of New York. You know, murder, cheat, kill, sex trade, drug trafficking. There's movies about them. Do you think they're any better in Albania themselves? Come on. Listen, Brazil, a banana republic. It's actually financially bankrupt. Put that list back up. All right. Now you got Gabon, Ghana, India. India supporting Russia in their endeavors to take over what? Ukraine. But here you go. Ukraine, small country, middle of nowhere, size of Texas, population of California, is actually standing up and beating the Russian military with literally sticks and stones and Molotov
Hey,
cocktails. Grandma's Molotov cocktail is stopping the almighty Russian military.
and not these guys.
Kudos.
And not
What?
these guys. And not
Hang on.
these guys. That's the thing. The
Hang on.
scary
Hang on.
part is that these guys are doing nothing.
Listen, United Arab Emirates, I mean, they should be the first person to sponsor the bill because you know what? They gain on all oil fronts. But again, this makes no sense. It's absolutely nonsensical. So
Look,
I beg and I plead with you, whether you're on the
oh,
left
look,
or the right side of political norms, this is genocide of the modern era. You know, I'm not going to compare it to World War II. That was 11 million people. But I guarantee you, if Russia goes unchecked, unstopped, and China just continues to back this,
but
we're going to have another genocide of epic proportion.
Stuart, but you know what the problem is? Who is stopping whom?
There's only one problem.
Well, one of the major problems is that
Ah,
countries like UK, the United States, France, Canada, you name it, they've all said the same great words. And they said, yes, we're committing millions and hundreds of millions in armament and blah, 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 all that kind of crap to Zelensky. But when push comes to shove, they're not doing anything. They're not. They're not standing side by
they're
side.
slow rolling the military stuff.
The
And you
whole
know what? I forget who it is in the Senate that's doing an investigation and calling out the left, Biden's administration for slow rolling the aid, the quote non-lethal aid. I don't
But
know about
Stuart,
you, but
but
anything,
Stuart, no, it's Trump's fault because Trump was supposed to threaten Zelensky while he was in power. I mean, Stuart, the problem is the politicians themselves only care about one thing: getting reelected.
getting reelected.
And as we've ranted about the other day, it isn't, when CNN or others have to question whether or not, is it is it good for Biden Ukraine war to get more votes in November? I mean, if that's the only thing you care about, and you don't care about the 40 million people who are being persecuted genocidally, whatever. I mean, when you look at the pictures, if you have you seen the pictures of the people dead in the streets, strangled,
Yeah,
armed
but you know,
by
everyone is so desensitized to this. We watch movies that are so graphic. Our kids watch things of murder and rape. You know, yeah, my kid was listening to a podcast about the Bernardo trial. The
listen.
world is so friggin'
No, but that's the thing, is that we're desensitized, so to
Thank you.
speak, right? On
Thank
one side of the world, we're desensitized, but then don't say, don't call me this. But if you look at what Vladimir Zelensky is doing, is he's actually calling out the entire world leadership and saying, "Are you watching this?"
Listen, he sees the problem with woke and dead because his people are dying, and those are the people we're seeing in the street.
I don't think
The
it's about
stupid
woke. No, I don't think
man,
it's about woke, Stuart. It's not about woke. You know what it is? It's, are you fucking awake? Are you standing there right now watching genocide happen? And then when this is all done, let's erect a monument. We'll have a day of memorial. Oh my God, all these people are killed. I mean, the attitude is, it's like, it's everything else. We've had, it's not, and I'm sorry to the people of Ukraine. There are genocides happening in many different parts of the world that we don't really care about. The media has no interest in Africa here in North
Nope.
America. The media has no interest in what goes on in South America. The media has no interest in many parts of Asia. That's the scary part. And there are horrific crimes, war crimes, call it whatever you want, human rights crimes, human rights violations happening globally, hundreds and hundreds of times a day. No comment. So this is the flavor du jour. This is the 40-odd day war over here has caught everybody's attention. It's a Western country. We should be more aware of it. It's Russia, blah, blah, blah. But you know, what goes on in these other countries we listed before, China, we're turning a blind eye. Uyghurs are being persecuted. Chinese people are being persecuted. Women are being persecuted. Gays are being persecuted in China. And it doesn't make a freaking difference.
No, of
But
course not.
but it's
Of course
amazing.
not, because they want to control the narrative, and the narrative looks good when you leave out all the facts and you just go with your narrative. Listen,
Look, I'm
ladies and gentlemen, all over the world, I feel horrible. I support the Ukraine. You know, in Ukraine's, it's again the size of Texas. Who would think a country the size of Texas could stand up to Goliath? This is a modern day David and Goliath. And all he's asking for is to upgrade my sticks and stones with non lethal aid, as the American government likes to call it, which are bullets, anti tank weapons, anti aircraft weapons. But that's called what? That's called non aggression military options. I mean, why
We've been
not
here.
just end it? I don't get it. I don't get it, David.
Look, to
I
me,
am so confused by this.
it just shows you the intestinal fortitude of the leadership or the lack thereof. And when the world turns its attention to the United States and doesn't see any, and then it turns its attention to the UK. I mean, listen, Macron, the president of France, is in an election mode. And whether we
Yep.
like it or not, you hear his name come up more and more as an emerging leader, as someone who wants to make a difference in a country that doesn't have the power it did in the 19th and 20th centuries. But
Yep.
certainly he is trying to show leadership in this changing world. You see other leaders who are sitting around just watching. Great words by Justin Trudeau, great words by other leaders, but no substance. And Vladimir Zelensky sitting in bunkers, doing whatever he can. I got to tell you, when this is all done, and I don't know when, and I hope very soon, Zelensky is going to realize that Facebook came up with a term called friends, right? We all thought when we were younger, the word friend had a meaning. Now a friend means an acquaintance, a contact, somebody. Vladimir Zelensky realized that who he thought were his friends were his Facebook friends. People who want to see beautiful pictures of him, but when shit hits the fan, all of a sudden they all run away. That is not a friend. And that is what he's realizing he doesn't have many of in the world. People talk the great game, and they're leaving him hanging
That
high
was
and
very
dry.
deep, David. That was very deep and very anti Mark Zuckerberg. And I really don't care, because he's probably going to ban us anyways from some comment that we've made. But you know what, David? We're getting close to the quarter hour. And I just want to, again, thank you for putting together.
No, hold on. Whoa, I got one more comment, though. I got one more comment.
Wow.
Okay. Because what has happened here is people are saying, okay, so what can the world do? Okay, because we're sitting here, we're sending armaments, and we're sending in, we're doing sanctions and whatever.
Defensive armaments.
Okay? But what I don't see right now is what is the real red line turning point in which we need to turn defense into offense. I know nobody wants another world war. I get it. But folks.
But how is this not a world war? I don't you see, they're all tiptoeing, pussy willowing around another dead body. That's it. I mean, it is a world war.
My point is that we sit and diplomats are talking, and it's all talk. When is real action going to happen? And I think that that's the problem. And I think, Stuart, if you look, people are more interested in a slap rather than in a genocide. That to me is just crazy. But on that note, I'll leave it at the quarter hour, my friend.
Leave it, love it, hate it. It's a fact. David, thank you so much again.
Have a
And I
good week,
did cut you
everybody.
off.
Folks, Friday.
Friday.
We're back Friday. We're both back on Friday. We're going to continue ranting here on whatever. Folks, send it out. Comments I'm getting about Disney are hilarious. Comments we're getting about other things we've been ranting about, send them out.
Oh,
Post them on our Facebook page. Check us out on Rumble. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. Till they throw us out. But check us out everywhere. Folks, we are growing.